Welcome to the latest episode of Capital City News, your connection to Salt Lake City government. I'm your host, Poonam Kumar. This week, we'll be learning all about the function of the Community and Economic Development Department in Salt Lake City. And our History Minute takes a look at the International Peace Gardens. But before we get to that, let's catch up on some things you might have missed, starting with our legislative update. The City Council has one more public meeting left this year on December 8th. There will be a ceremony to honor the outgoing council members. A capital city education, cultivating a college, career, and civic-ready environment in Salt Lake City is a collaborative community effort promoting a lifetime of learning for all city residents. The Family Fall Festival launched a public awareness campaign to provide equitable education and lifelong learning opportunities to residents in Salt Lake City. The county's Collective Impact Steering Committee unanimously adopted priority outcomes for future homeless services. Over the past month, the city's Homeless Services Site Evaluation Commissioners have met to discuss outcomes, and in those meetings, significant progress was made toward defining goals and scenarios. With input collected from the commissioners and the public, the city and county groups met to announce a scattered site plan model that would decentralize homeless services and spread facilities across the county. This week, we're talking to Jill Love, the director of the Community and Economic Development Department in Salt Lake City, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her department and what she does.
Hi, I'm Jill Remington Love, and I'm the director of Community and Economic Development. Community and Economic Development is one of the biggest departments in City Hall, and it's really an outward-facing department that whose functions are all built around economic development and community building. We have planning and zoning and transportation and housing and neighborhood development and building permits and engineering, arts council. So a number of functions that help the development community build a great city and also plan events that create a real quality of life in our city. You might come to one of our events. Our Arts Council plans the Twilight Series and the Brown Bag concerts and Living Traditions Festival. If you're a small business owner, you may come in to get a building permit to build out your space. If you are a first-time home buyer, you may take advantage of one of our first-time home buyer programs. A small business owner may get a loan from our Small Business Revolving Loan Fund. So there's lots of different entry points that you may interface with this. If you're building or doing business, you'll probably come to the city and interact with someone in community and economic development. Well, I think it's important as a city that we be forward-thinking and we be strategizing about what we want our city to be and that we address issues in our city. For instance, we have developed a master plan for the west side of Salt Lake City, and so our department led that process, interacted with the community on what they visualized and visioned for our west side, and now we'll also be the implementers of that. And so working with different economic development tools, we hope to create new neighborhood business nodes and build new housing and just incentivize development that will really see that plan come about. In terms of how we're doing as a city, the economy is booming. Our applications in planning and at the permit counter continue to be at record highs. I believe they're up about 30% just this year. So as much activity as we see in the construction industry in the city, it will continue, both in the housing and commercial markets. We really, every day, struggle to figure out how to better involve our residents. We want their input in the process, and we realize that doing things the old-fashioned way, where maybe coming to a public hearing and making comment or coming to an open house might not meet the needs in today's world, might not be the best way to communicate, but we're always looking for new avenues, and so I think we'd really encourage everyone to sign up to be a part of Open City Hall and to sign up for the Neighbor Next Door app.
And now it's time for our History Minute.
As one of two international peace gardens in the United States, Salt Lake City's International Peace Gardens are nestled just inside of Jordan Park on the west side. The idea for the gardens was conceived in 1939 by Mrs. Otto Wisely. Her goal was to give groups of foreign origin in Salt Lake City a spot to call their own for the state's coming centennial celebration in 1947. Though World War II delayed the project, it resumed again once the war had concluded. Each section of the park was dedicated to a different country. The first to be complete was dedicated to the United States. The second was the Japanese section of the garden. All in all, more than 25 nations are represented at the Peace Gardens today, spanning every corner of the globe from Asia, South and Central America and Africa, to Europe, Canada, and the Middle East and all points in between. Today, the International Peace Gardens stand as a symbol of the inviting spirit of Salt Lake City, a beautiful way to illustrate that all immigrants and refugees are welcome here, regardless of national origin. It's also a reminder that those who came to Salt Lake City would find a home here, and at the Peace Gardens, find a place that felt like home too.
That's the end of another episode of Capital City News, where we do our best to keep you in the know. Make sure you keep watching to stay up to date on the latest and greatest. For SLC TV, I'm Poonam Kumar.